Some of us are exhausted. Some of us are well rested. Let's talk about it.
It's Crosby. Crosby on Kunitz and shots. Penguins win it! Sees part for Crosby to the goal. He scores!
Buckle up, baby. Are you kidding me?
And on Fane, the shot. He scores! Here's Crosby with a burst of speed up the middle. Gets open and scores!
You're a collective.
Andy Kyoto is beating Ninamaki's finds it. What a show!
The Penguins have completed their West Coast trip, facing off the Ducks, the Kings, and the Sharks. And the Penguins won 2 games out of 3. Not too bad. And if you joined us during the live streams, Josh did not. I had to stay up past midnight every single game so I could keep you guys entertained. So that's he's well rested. I am not. But we're going to talk about these games. Josh, what did you think of the West Coast games from your bed?
Yeah. So I did fall asleep during each and every one of them, not going to lie. But I did watch at least half of all of them, and then I did recap the next day. But honestly, playing really well. The team as a whole is playing really well. There are some guys who are playing better than others. I'm not going to get into the whole Crosby is struggling trend on Twitter. We're not going to dive into that in this episode.
I mean,
but
multi-point night, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. However, guys are playing great. Jari ended the West Coast trip with a shutout. So he's starting to play with confidence. Is what he is telling people, but I mean, we'll see. Just because he's got a shutout against the Sharks, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm the Jari truther.
You're
here.
the
I need
Jari
to be
truther.
on his side.
Listen,
I need to be on his side.
It's funny you say that because after the live stream, the Sharks game, and everyone was sharing like, "Wow, Jari is feeling better," and I was like, "Guys, this is our 6th game. I'd be feeling
and it's
good
the
too."
Sharks.
And it's the Sharks, and he got a shutout. I would be saying the same thing. I said, let's wait until a couple months when he has to play Winnipeg or Carolina or Oilers, where he's going to get lit up. And I wonder how his confidence is going to be then, So, listen, it's early. I don't want to get us excited for the future, but Tristan Jari, I guess, is feeling a little more confident, Josh.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's why we're going to put that word confident in quotes. But that was the way it ended. It started with, I thought, a pretty good game against the Ducks.
Yeah.
Just obviously, last minute, Parker Waterspoon cannot take that penalty, that delay of game penalty.
Yeah.
That led
Killed
to,
Kreider.
what's the ex-Ranger, Kreider. Kreider's power play goal, less than a minute in the game.
Right off the face-off. Just it wasn't good.
Yep.
It wasn't pretty.
It was bad defense as well, but I mean, you kind of rewind it. If the penalty didn't happen, we wouldn't be put in that situation. So all of that. But regardless of that penalty, I thought that whole trip, that line, Carlson and Wotherspoon have been playing really well together. I did not like that pairing at the start of the year, but they are making it work. Are they barn burners and taking the league by force? No, but it is an upgrade of what we had last year. So we'll take these small improvements. Now, Brunicke is playing a lot better. Kindel is playing a lot better. We're starting to creep up on those 9 games. What's going to happen with them? But this West Coast trip was really good for the young guys. Hollander got his first goal of his NHL career. So honestly, I like the way that they are playing right now and the direction that they're heading into Tuesday night's game.
Yeah, and on Tuesday, the Penguins are taking on the Vancouver Canucks. It's a home game. But then right after that, we go to Florida. So, I mean, I don't, it doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. We didn't make the schedule. What I want to talk about, some things came out during this road trip that kind of shocked a few people, especially with the 9-game timeline for these young guns. We talked about in our previous episode how Brunicke and Kindel have only 9 games in the NHL before Kyle Dubas, the Pahogam, president of hockey operations and general manager, has to make the decision to either keep them for the whole entire year on the Pittsburgh Penguins roster or send them back to juniors. He has up until game 9 to do that decision. Now, during this West Coast trip, Dan Muse made the call to sit Brunicke for one game and then Kindel the following game as part of their development. Josh, what part of development does it mean to sit out? And do you agree with this move from Dan Muse? And was it even from Dan Muse, or was this from Kyle Dubas himself?
Yeah, so that's a great point, and that was something that caught my attention as well. At first, I didn't like it because I thought, hey, I think Brunicke was the first one to be sidelined. So at first, I didn't like it because I thought he was playing well. You know, obviously both of them are playing well, but especially for Brunicke because that defense, we need the best defenseman to be playing every game.
Correct.
But then I saw a stat that someone put out there that these guys have not played over 40 games at all in any of their seasons. The juniors, college, whatever they have played throughout their, early hockey careers, it has not been, it's been in the 40s range. So they have not played an 82 game season. Now, barring any injury, I don't know if they would have actually played 82 games. You are going to hit a wall if you have only ever played 40 something games in a season. So I'm not upset at it now, knowing that these kids have not endured the conditioning that they need to play 82 games. Totally fine with this. Now, technically, this could have been the year for them to just try it because we have the Winter Olympics break where we have I think it's about 3 weeks off. Now, I understand 3 weeks may not be enough time to, get your body back and ready to go for the tail end of the season. But, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not, first glance, yes, upset. Looking back, being reasonable, understanding the circumstances, I get it. And the fact that you only have 9 games to figure it out. And I think it's 9 games that they play. I don't think it's the 9th overall.
Yeah, sorry. Nine
so it's the 9 games that they play. So you're delaying that decision as well by 1 game. So I'm not entirely mad about it. I understood the frustrations to begin with, but it passed over, I should say.
I mean, here's my take on it. I think this just points to them being sent back. Because I think first of all, that's my idea, but I will say it's not like Kyle Dubas already made up his mind. I don't think that has happened. I think this is more of, hey, I'm in a tough position. I got a buttload of guys who are trying to make this roster. I had to send Koivunen down. I got Hayes coming back from injury. I got McGroarty coming back from injury. I have, I have all these guys that I'm paying to make sure that they're an NHL player. And now I have these 2 outstanding young guns that I can't send to Wilkes-Barre. I have to send them to juniors or I have to keep them. So I think he's in a very tough position. With that being said, I think Kyle Dubas, telling Dan Muse, hey, let's see how they react. How do they come off of a scratch? Do they play well? Do they respond well? How do they react to adversity? That's something that I kind of pointed out with Dan Muse and it was Saturday against the Rangers, and how they absolutely got destroyed, and Dan Muse made no corrections, no adjustments. And I believe it was because he wanted to see how the Penguins reacted to adversity. Now, I think they're doing that individually. How does Brunicke come back from not playing for a game? After being iced for one game, does he come back on a new line with Caleb Jones, and does he do well? What about Ben Kindle? He's coming back in, and now it's going to be his own line on the third. How does he respond? And we saw two different responses, in my opinion. I saw Brunicke do really well, get benched, came out, and now he's non-existent. I saw Ben Kindle get a slow start to the season, get benched, and now he's playing like a chicken with his head cut off, and playing one of the best shifts that a lot of people have ever seen. So, which is kind of crazy, because if you listen to our last episode, we all thought that it was going to be Brunicke who was going to get the year in Pittsburgh, and Kendall was going to get sent back to juniors. Now, I think it's the opposite. Ben Kindle is looking really good. Brunicke is being very quiet. And I'm not looking for him to score. I'm looking him to play his position. And I think he's just been very quiet. I think he's still young, and I think he's still learning. So I think it was all a test.
Been fine. I think you're a little judging a little harshly, but I think he's been fine for a rookie.
To be fair, we have to judge because we have 9 games with him to make a call. So
sure.
Here's where I'm getting at. If we send them back, both of them, I think this is going to be a tank year. Not on purpose. I think we're going to try to do something, but we're just going to suck anyway, so it's not really going to matter. If we keep them, I think watch out for the trade deadline to see if we could do anything to get that last final push to try to make a wild card spot. I think that's going to tell you where we're at as a team and as an organization. But I also think that the benching individual players was just to see how they would react.
That's fair.
Once again, all speculation. This is not any evidence whatsoever. And there was no sources saying this or that. All I know is that from what I see. Why would you bench Brunicke after he scored? Wouldn't you want to ride him? Or what about Kindle? He just got a goal. He literally just got a goal the game before. He's skating. Why bench him? Part of his development. Well, what part of development is sitting out? What kind of development is that? If only they want to see how he reacts. How do they react?
And to save the legs. Save the legs.
And to save the legs.
It's going to be a long season.
But it's only been 4 games. So,
sure. I get that.
So why would you save the legs after 4? If you have to save your legs after 4 games, then you're not conditioning the way a hockey player should be conditioning.
Sure.
A professional.
Now, I think it's a combination of them trying to elongate the 9-game period and get as much out of them as they can for this time being. But I think it's going to be interesting because during this West Coast trip, who was out there with them skating? Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
So he went on the trip with them. He was skating. Now he's coming back. Where does he go? What does that mean for him when he gets back onto the ice? So there's these guys. It's literally Kevin Hayes and Rucker, who I believe are the last 2 forwards who are hurt and due to come back. So what's going to happen? Where do we go from here? Because we talked about it with Koivunen when Koivunen was sent down. He was the only one that was able to clear waivers. Is that what they're going to do with Rucker? Rucker is the same way. Will they just send Rucker down to AHL so that they'll allow Kevin Hayes to kind of be like a healthy scratch along with, maybe a Chari, sure. every other game. Who knows, or Tomasino or Lazat. But the way some of these guys are playing, it's making it very hard to make a roster spot when you're coming off of an injury. So if
Yeah.
you are waivers exempt, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they prolong the return of Rucker and B send him down when he is healthy. But
That's
Kevin
wild.
Hayes coming back may not be, you know, it might be for nothing. He might just be benched if Kindle keeps playing the way he's playing, the way he did on this West Coast trip.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what I was going to transition to. What do we do now? You know, if in the live stream I mentioned it, this is going to be one of the biggest milestones for the Penguins this season. What do we do with the two kids? What do we do with them? Do we send them back or do we keep them? And if we keep them, that affects a domino. It's a domino effect, excuse me, of what do we do with Rucker? What do we do with Kevin Hayes? What do we do with Koivunen? Because it's not like Koivunen didn't get punished. Koivunen just was the odd man out on the roster.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Victim of the
literally
circumstance.
all it was. So if Kindle is gone and Brunicke is gone, then that allows a little more flexibility in the roster. So that way we could bring back up Koivunen and we could bring up Koivunen and we can have Rucker. Right, excuse me. My house might be on fire. I don't know. But it's okay. No, I think that's the issue right now. And Kyle Dubas has a lot on his plate. And it may seem like his house is burning down. So I'm very curious on I'm very curious on how he's going to react to it. Because like I wanted to preface, I think they're going to get both sent back. Bring up Koivunen and play Kevin Hayes and you know, bench Achari and you know, have those guys, the Lizottes, maybe not start.
But
there's
when you send back Kindle, there's only one spot. You're talking
Rucker,
3 guys because we have Tomasino benched, and then you have Kevin Hayes coming off injury and Rucker coming off.
It's easier to rotate them than a guy who is young and is looking for playing time. So I think you send him back and then you keep it in rotation. And I honestly think that the plan is to get Koivunen back up. So
gonna have to trade some pieces.
That's where I was gonna get at. So I think if we send Kindle, Brunicke, expect the trading away to get some assets. So that way, when we get in the top 5 for the draft, right? Kindle, whoever we get, whether it's McKenna or not, they're going to have a young, it's going to be just a young team. Like, that's all it is. Yeah. We're going to be the Sharks.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're doing. I think that's how we're going to, you have to. Like, do you trade Tomasino for a pick? Which I don't want to see because I like Tomasino. You know,
he's been scratched the last few games.
Yes, I know, and he hasn't been living up to it a little bit. But when he gets going, he gets going. You know, so it's kind of that situation. Do you, everything you're thinking right now is what Kyle Dubas is thinking. And if he's not thinking 2 steps ahead, he's thinking 3 steps ahead. And how does that work for the Penguins? And how does that work for Kindle next year? And is Kindle going to be part of the big long-term solution? Or is he dangling Kindle in front of the NHL?
All right, now we want you to tell us what you thought of the West Coast trip and what we should be doing with the contracts of Kindle and Brunicke. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Pens Collective and to join us live after every Penguins game. Louie, as always.
Let's go, Pens.
It's Crosby. Crosby on Kunitz and shot. Penguins win it!
Buckle up, baby. Are you kidding me?
You're a collective.